Speaking of not a real movie.
Oh.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yep.
We're back.
So
Indy's back again.
So we saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
We certainly did.
And it is a movie that has come out in the year 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It premiered at Cannes Film Festival. Mm-hmm. To rave reviews.
Everyone was saying it's a masterpiece.
So, do you want to just go full spoilers? Because I felt the most interesting part of this movie to talk about is the spoilers bit.
Yeah. Before we get into spoilers, the movie.
Just general thoughts.
Yeah, the movie's. It's a movie that exists.
Yeah.
It's not awful.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
The worst thing about it is it's just incredibly uninteresting.
Yeah. So I liked it more than you did. Mm-hmm. Without like a shot at I definitely liked it. Like, because for the most part, I enjoyed it. The third act is baffling for reasons we'll get into.
Third act's bad, yeah.
But for the most part, I think it's I'm a sucker for that aesthetic. I'm a sucker for that kind of that genre.
So because granted, I know you watched the Indiana Jones films recently.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I'm kind of just going off.
I'm all caught up on the lore.
You've been busy.
Which is weird because this film is the only Indiana Jones film that has lore and requires you to have watched a previous film.
The previous film requires you to watch
being the worst one of the franchise, which is a bold move. But no, genuinely, the beginning of that fucking film when they have the picture of the woman from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's the Indiana Jones films have always been very singular.
Yeah, they're standalone as a franchise can get without being an anthology.
Yeah, and it's because it's got this character, but they go and do another thing, and they're typically very separate. There's not usually a serialized storyline going on, and. The thing is, I think with this movie, I think the biggest problem it has overall is it lacks a reason to exist.
Yeah, so it's
that's the single fundamental problem, and that's the thing. I don't have a problem with movies that it's one of them. I don't need every single movie to need a reason to exist.
Yeah,
but I think the problem with this is by the time it ends, it's kind of just what are we doing here? What was the point?
I would argue that I think this film does have a reason to exist, but I think it doesn't know it because I think it's torn between two. Mm-hmm. I think part of this movie wants to be a big farewell, and part of this movie wants to be another Indiana Jones film that sets up another Indiana Jones film. Mm-hmm.
But then it's then
it can't figure that out.
It fails to execute because going into spoilers.
Yeah,
it doesn't. The final goodbye to Indy. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I was kind of floored by that because I was just this is not because what's bizarre about it is they've already kind of done the big goodbye to Indy. They've done it twice. Last Crusade, I think, even has a shade of that.
Less, not really. Last Crusade ended like an India. Last Crusade to me had a more.
Doesn't it end with them getting married?
No, that's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, okay.
Last Crusade ends with a concrete, the most concrete character arc out of all of them.
Yeah.
And so, it's the most satisfying ending.
That's what I mean. It's, it has, there was already a conclusion.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating about this, is, now what they've done.
Well, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is a fucking tease at the end. Because it's Shia LaBeouf goes to put the hat on.
But even then, it's still, Harrison Ford's... Harrison Ford's kind of run as Indy has gone away. But the problem with this is they are kind of trying to do the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. They want her to be the new Indy, but then they want it to be like that. But the film still ends with Indiana Jones still grabbing his hat, implying that they're going to do more with them. And I think that's the problem.
That's what hurts it.
Yeah, it can't commit to anything. And I think so. To me, it's to me, the whole time, the film's trying to find a reason to exist.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to go okay, a new Indy.
Yeah.
It can't find a reason to do it because it can't be in conclusion to Indiana Jones because it doesn't commit to it. It doesn't commit to Phoebe Waller-Bridge being the new Indy. Yeah. Because
I want Teddy to be the new Indy.
Oh my god, no.
That kid is so pointless.
Teddy, who's the fucking assistant.
You can tell they just put him in because they were everyone loved Short Round and
It's the new
Temple
Shaun
of the Doom. Just put in a kid. It doesn't matter if he does anything.
Just put a child in the film.
But no, I think I think the biggest flaw with the film for me is that it really wants Indiana Jones 6 to exist, but it's not sure how it wants it to exist.
So it just kind of it just exists as a movie.
It can't tell whether or not it wants Indiana Jones, because they've said they want more Indiana Jones films to be made. Like they've said that, but I imagine that this film kind of, the script at least, kind of came about as a whole. Is Harrison Ford still going to be Indiana Jones after this? Oh, we don't know.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we can't really write an ending about we don't know. So they're like, just fucking write an ending about we don't know. So the ending kind of sets up Phoebe Waller-Bridge as the new Indiana Jones, and kind of sets up this being Harrison Ford's last film. But then also at the same time...
But it doesn't commit to both... It commits to neither.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's being made in a way so that if Harrison Ford wants to do another, they can easily do another.
But it's weird because Harrison Ford, at least to me, clearly doesn't want to do another.
No, exactly.
One. He's made it clear that he doesn't want to do. Yeah,
this film would have been so much more effective, especially its ending. Because in the third act, it's all about fucking Nazis finding time travel devices, as you do. I love that this is Disney's version of a Nazi, so he's a Nazi whose goal is to kill Hitler, which is baffling.
Sounds about right.
So he gets the time travel device specifically to go kill Hitler.
Yeah.
Because he can't be that evil of a Nazi. But then also he wants to become the new Hitler, I guess. But like, I don't know. I kind of lost the plot by that point.
The overall like narrative of the film is just kind of uninteresting.
Yeah, because it's quite generic until the third act.
Yeah, because James Mangold was a very interesting choice for a director because he did Logan.
Yeah,
and I was kind of hoping he'd carry
some
of that
energy.
Like
a gritty fucking.
Like I was
not necessarily gritty, but like
a classic, a very classic feeling director.
Yeah,
like Ford v Ferrari feels very classic.
Ford v Ferrari is like a dad film.
Yeah, and it's like
I'd have loved the Indiana Jones dad film.
And I think the problem with the movie is like I think he could have done something really interesting. He could have made an Indiana Jones film that could have looked at Indiana Jones and could have been his last film and still set up, they still could have done that, but instead they make a weird in-between where they don't want to let go of the past, but they also are a bit too afraid to, it's like they don't know what they want to do. There's a scene at the end which, they travel back in time.
Yeah, to ancient
Rome.
Yeah. It's the Trojan War. Is it the Trojan War? Or is it the Siege? It's one of the wars.
It's one of the wars.
Is it?
And
I don't remember.
And Indiana Jones like, wow, this place is beautiful. I want to stay.
Yeah.
And he says it to Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like, no, you can't stay. Like, you need to go back. You need to carry on. Like, your time isn't over yet.
Yeah, it's fucking Disney.
Which could have been an interesting scene.
Yeah.
That could have led to an interesting thing of, like, you gotta know when it's over.
Yeah.
You gotta know when to, just, like, when to...
No, because I mean the thing is,
put the hat like away and like
because I took that scene as Indiana Jones was dying there and then because he was shot. He's like 100 years old. So I took that as he's dying there and then. He just wants to die he wants to die there. I took that as he wants to die.
Yeah. Which
is like, okay, I like the idea of a shot which is the plane flying away, Indiana Jones lying in ancient Rome, surrounded by everything he loves. That
could have been. That could have been a good send off for the character.
Indiana Jones has lost everything he loves.
Yeah,
that would have been really sweet.
Yeah,
but then the actual ending of the scene.
It says Phoebe Waller-Bridge just punches him and knocks him out, and then he wakes up back on Earth. And and then it just kind of glosses over the fact, and then just completely glosses that over.
Yeah,
and it is one of the most bizarre endings to a film I think I've seen because of how anticlimactic it is.
Yeah,
and how almost cynical it is.
Yeah,
where. To me, like like that whole time I was watching that scene, I was just thinking like Phoebe Waller-Bridge is just like Disney, like begging for Harrison Ford to stay in this role, while Harrison Ford's like, no, I'm done. Like,
I'm not necessarily saying that an ending of Indiana Jones dying in the middle of ancient Rome would have been a good ending.
Would have been better than what we got.
Exactly.
Would have been more interesting.
It would have been an interesting ending.
Yeah.
But the way this film ends, this film is a pseudo sequel to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It doesn't follow in on any plot points, but it addresses. In some ways, it kind of feels like Disney going, "We know you guys didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, so his son that you didn't like, he's dead, and look." He's got a new child character to you know what I mean? He's got like Phoebe Waller-Bridge now following him, who is his new
It's like a father
child.
figure, yeah. It's like,
And so, you know, it feels a bit like that. And like, oh, his wife, she's gone. But then at the end of the film, the wife and him reconcile. Which, if you've watched Indiana Jones 4 as your last one, you would think that's how the series ends anyway. So this film didn't actually do anything.
and that's the thing is, by the time the film ends,
It ends in basically the exact same place you would have thought Indy would
exactly,
be there anyway.
Exactly. So it's a bit like, what was the point?
Minus one Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, but it's just like, so what was the point of the film?
This
then?
film is the biggest fucking hate parade towards Shia LaBeouf I've seen in my life. It exists purely to kill off Shia LaBeouf.
Like and that's the problem. It's like, it's a film that by the time it ends, it's just like, what
was the point?
What did we get out of that?
Yeah.
Because you fundamentally just ended in the exact same place that we were at 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look at it too cynically, but it's forcing me to because of how it ends. I'm like, so, you know, and again, like, obviously everything is a cash grab.
Yeah.
Everyone wants your fucking money, but I just think with this, it was so fucking unnecessary.
No, it
to the point where it was like, there was no reason for this.
Yeah.
When they could have done something.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They went with the most safest possible thing.
No, I'm
and
shocked this didn't kill off Harrison Ford.
Yeah, and you know
The
what?
actual fucking actor. No,
Honestly, yeah. If they did, alright, fine.
Yeah.
You've given him a send off.
Well, I feel like
Go
there's
for
a
it.
legacy sequel recently that kills off his main character. I can't remember what it is. But, like,
I mean, quite a few.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
will do it. Or like, or at the very least, they will keep the original alive.
yeah.
But will make a point to have, like, the Scream movies.
Yeah.
Have done that. Where some of the original cast have died, but the ones who are still alive, they've become side characters.
Yeah.
There's still parts of it, but it's the main new cast of the Scream films. They're the ones who. So that's why they exist. They exist, like, you know, that's their reason. They have it's a new generation of Scream. It's a new cast of characters. A lot of Scream 2022 is passing the torch to the new generation. So a lot of those characters either die or they're just they're given a send off. So you don't know anything.
If they confirmed the new Indiana Jones film tomorrow and it was starring Phoebe Waller-Bridge as the new Indiana Jones, would you care? Would you be excited for it?
No.
Yeah.
Because it's one of them. If they set it up like that and properly,
I don't think Indiana Jones is a franchise.
I think
to
as
me,
well.
to
Yeah.
me, Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford. You know what I mean? I don't think
It lives and dies with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
There's a reason why so much of Indiana Jones merch and so much it's Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
They've never tried to do anything else.
You slap that hat and a whip on someone else. I don't care.
And I think, and that's the problem.
Those original three movies slap. And I think part of why they slap is because Harrison Ford is the most charismatic man to ever live.
It's so much of Indiana Jones is built around his charisma, but also as well, to be quite frank, I just don't think people care about Indiana Jones anymore.
No, not particularly.
Not in the way of. I don't think a movie like this would do well unless it literally.
Yeah.
The only way I can see it doing properly well is if they pushed more. That this was a passing the torch movie.
Because it's like a 1930s adventure serial. That's kind of what it's based on.
That's kind of what, that's what it's trying to, it's a massive homage to those kind of films.
Yeah.
Spielberg grew up on.
So it's just mad that's, we're still trying to milk that kind of thing in today's age.
It doesn't have the same
superhero movies.
Because when you think about it, those three movies all came out within relatively, what was it, 1981, 84 and 89.
Yeah.
They all came out in the 80s when that still was relatively fresh, both in young people's minds because Harrison Ford was a big star, and old people's minds because there was nostalgia of those past serials.
You can even see in this film kind of the attempts to modernize it. Again with the kind of Nazis. Oh, he wants to kill Hitler.
Setting in the 60s as well.
Yeah,
and that kind of aesthetic, which they don't do nearly enough with.
The fucking time travel stuff. Because I feel like a lot of movies recently are doing time travel.
I kind of wish they embraced the 60s more.
Oh yeah.
Because the first act I think is kind of cool. And I kind of would have liked the idea of Indiana Jones in the 60s, and maybe, honestly, they should have done something with the moon.
Oh yeah.
Put Indiana Jones on the fucking moon.
Put him on the moon.
Nah, that would have been fucking because you know what? As goofy as that sounds.
Yeah.
I honestly think because it's
not as goofy. Yeah, no. That sounds a lot less goofy than fucking Indiana Jones in ancient Rome.
My hot take is aliens on paper is not a bad idea for Indiana Jones, and I do think it could have worked.
Yeah,
I don't think it works well in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I'm not.
He survives an atomic bomb by going in a fridge.
I think that's cool.
You think that's cool?
I love that. I know people are like, ugh, that could never happen.
I don't give a shit about that. I just think like that's a weird scene.
It is, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
it's one of them like because again, like stupid shit like that is kind of what these kind of stories go for. That's what it's the silliness of how the fuck did he survive that, but it's the it's the adventure of it, and it's like, and I think this tries to do it with that third act. I think that is what they're trying to go for. But I think the problem is that the narrative.
It's also weird we don't see him leave the ancient Rome place. It's just
he just gets knocked out. It does feel like a chunk of film is missing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It also feels like
especially how quick that last scene is. Yeah. As well. It's kind of like, oh, he's back. Oh, his wife. The kiss. The end. Like it's like
the
someone else. It's
he
like
starts the film by putting a fucking like fridge magnet on her face. You know what I mean? You don't do that about someone you're just ready to kiss. Yeah. So like, what the?
And that's the thing. Like the film feels weirdly glossed over, which is strange to say for a film that's 150 minutes.
It is long.
It is a long movie.
Yeah.
Way too long. In fact, I'd say you probably like the middle of it really drags.
Now, okay, overall, I know you're less keen on it.
Yeah.
I quite like I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I feel that's my big takeaway is I enjoyed it. It's it's unnecessary. The ending baffles me and frustrates me. But for the most part, it is an Indiana Jones film. Yeah. It's not a great Indiana Jones film. Yeah. It's a lot more Crystal Skull than it is Last Crusade. But I definitely don't think it's the worst. It's not the worst one. Crystal Skull for me is worse. Easily. Yeah,
I mean, I would say for me, like, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I think I'm just kind of just like, all I can really say, it's a shrug of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just incredibly uninteresting.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
I think it's just a lot of just missed potential for a film that could have been interesting with the character. That I think, with the talent involved. I mean, having James Mangold for this could have been really interesting.
Also, the music was pretty mad, aside from the fucking Indiana Jones thing.
John Williams he's fantastic.
Washed.
Flop.
I'll be honest, the Indiana Jones theme is like my favourite theme in film.
I love it. It's great.
I fucking love that shit.
It's great.